As you guys have probably heard by now, the Hunter Call of the Wild is getting the Great One Moose very, very soon with the next update. Now, I have actually been grinding moose for the last quite a while, and I have learned a lot about the moose grind, so I am very, very excited for this new Great One Moose. Today we're going to talk about what you should be doing to prepare. You do need some cash, quite a bit of cash, in order to just set up for your grind. And we also are going to talk about what to expect from the Moose Great One grind, seeing as this is going to be the very first Great One that goes to level 5. And tips for mastering the grind. So it's going to be a little bit of a different experience from what we have experienced with black bears, red deer, and whitetail, seeing as whitetail go to level 3 and black bears and red deer both go to level 9. So we are going to talk a little bit today about herd management and stacking. Now, you don't have to do these in order to spawn a Great One. I just want to put that out there. It is not the only way to get a Great One. Now, you may be wondering why I am doing a moose grind before there even is a Great One moose in the game. And the answer to that is I have been trying to spawn a super rare moose. Now, that might sound a little crazy because spawning a super rare is a very difficult thing to do, but using stacking and herd management is a fantastic technique that will definitely increase your chances of spawning a super rare. It won't necessarily help you to spawn a Great One, but it certainly won't hurt, and it will definitely get you more diamonds and possibly a super rare on your way to putting that Great One moose in your lodge. Now, this is one of my very best zones. Look at all the bulls in this zone. I wish all my zones looked like that. Most of the zones that you're gonna find are gonna have only one bull in them, so the Great One moose grind is going to be a much slower grind from what you're used to with the other Great Ones. I mean, the black bear grind is fairly slow as well, but I think the moose grind is the slowest grind. Most of the time you are shooting one moose and then you're going to go track it. Even with a vital shot from the 300, we'll run about 200 meters before they drop. So herd shots are definitely the way to go with moose because that's a lot of time wasted tracking. Now let's take some of these guys down. Now, I am using herd management, which means I'm only shooting the 3s and the 4s, generally speaking. But when I do have a level 2 or a 1, you don't see a whole lot of 1s, but there are a few. When they do show up in my shooter zones, and I would consider this definitely one of my shooter zones, I do shoot them. Now, what is a shooter zone? A shooter zone is a zone where I have multiple bulls spawn in the same zone. So this is definitely one I don't want gummed up with level 2s. Using herd management, what it basically does, herd management is basically shooting the mid levels. So for a species that goes to level 5, we're shooting the 3s and the 4s. With whitetail, a species that goes to level 3, you only want to shoot the 2s. And with red deer and black bears, what I did was shoot the 5 to 8s and leave the rest. And I do have at least one of every Great One in the game. I have one whitetail, I have one black bear, and I have 6 red deer Great Ones. Now, I would definitely consider red deer to be the easiest of all the Great Ones to spawn. They just always show up in their zone. It's a fairly quick grind. There are always piles of stags in just about every zone, but this is a very fun grind. Now, there are so many bulls here, I don't think I can take them all down, but we are going to talk about what you need to do right now to prepare for this grind. So I am using 2 300s, guys, and if you don't have the 300 yet, I highly, highly recommend that you grind for cash right now and purchase the 300. It comes with the Yukon Valley DLC, and it is expensive. Now, I actually would recommend you purchase both variations because I carry 2 300s with me, and that way I can unload one of them, and instead of waiting to reload while the moose disappear, you can just cycle over to your second one and continue shooting. Perfect. I think I only got 3 of them. That guy's going down. Oh, I gotta reload. And I should have cycled over to my second 300 there. So that was my error. And you see how much time I wasted there? And now he's gone. So I should have cycled over here and I would have had 4 more shots. What you can do right now, guys, is grind for cash. And you are going to need quite a lot of cash in order to set up for the Great One grind. You're going to need tents. You're going to need tripods. Now, you can get away with not using tripods to start. You will make some pretty decent cash. Oh, where are you going? Oh dear. Okay, when you get a flesh hit with the 300 on any moose, it will not die. It will come back to its zone, and it will usually be at about 25% health, but you can usually get a second shot into them, so I don't think that moose is going to die from that shot. So you definitely need tents. Now, tents are $16,000 each, so they are very expensive, but they are essential for doing this grind. Now, you don't have to have your dog, the Bloodhound, in order to do this grind, but I do find him very, very handy. As you can see, there are a lot of reeds around the lakes in Medved. Now, you may not be doing your grind in Medved, but nonetheless, I just love to leave the tracking to the dog. That's one less thing I have to worry about. And there's our level 3. We did get a vital on the first shot there, and he is going to pay us $882. So it's not awesome, it's not terrible, but it definitely does add up. So you're going to need 16 tents. That is the max amount we're allowed to put down on any map at one time. So 16 times 16,000 is 256,000 in-game dollars. So like I said, it's time to start grinding for some cash. Now, tripods are also $16,000 each. With tripods, we are actually allowed to put 32 down on the map. Now, you don't need 32, and I like to have my tripod within 200 meters of the moose. 253, that's a pretty nice one. And this rack, if you can believe it, this rack can make diamond. Does have to be bigger, but they don't have to have shovels in order to make diamond. Have a look at this, guys. This is my first diamond moose with no paddles. Now, when you're looking at a moose, either a monstrous level 4 or a level 5 moose can make diamond. It's not guaranteed, but what you want to look at is their width. This U shape in the middle, you want that to be as big as possible, and that is the deciding factor, generally speaking, with whether or not your moose is going to make diamond. If you start your grind without tripods and add them as you make cash in the grind, you're gonna need 150,000 for 2 300s. Now, if you do not have the 300 and you do want to do the grind without the 300, you can do the grind with any 4 to 8. Moose are a class 8 species. But the thing is, they are going to run a very long distance, even with a vital shot, and it is going to take you a lot longer to do your grind. You would really, and I'm going to emphasize really, want to take heart shots and drop those moose, especially if you're using any 4 to 8 rifle, but the 300 is definitely the way to go, if at all possible. 2 big boy 4s, 246.61, and that one we got a beautiful shot on. Very sweet. Man, you flap your trap a lot, don't you, dog? Easy. So this is where we are, bottom left-hand corner of the map, and this zone is definitely one of my very favorite zones on the entire map, and it has been for the entire grind. This is, without a doubt, the craziest zone. I actually now, for the first time, have 4 level 5s in one zone. Look at that. Isn't that insane? Now, they didn't all spawn there at the same time, and no, I never ever use mods. These spawned one at a time, and what I did was stack them. Stacking is the practice of leaving the max level animals on the map, and that, paired with herd management, will help you to spawn diamonds faster, and the more diamonds you can spawn, each time you spawn a diamond, that diamond has a chance at having a rare fur, and that gives you a better chance at spawning a super rare, and that is what I have been trying to do, and I have not succeeded quite yet. We have 4 here, we have this big boy here, 2, 3, and there's another one in behind him there, there's 4. Then the next zone over, I have 2 more. I have 1 over here, used to have 2, I did shoot one of them, and I have another one in this zone right here, but I'm pretty sure I spooked him. I did. So when you pair stacking with herd management, this is what your map will eventually look like. I know it's completely insane, but the reason it works so well is, number 1, what will happen when you start stacking is you will start to see an insane amount of level 2s on your map. I have just a crazy amount of level 2 bulls. What that does is, first of all, I don't have to go and visit most of these lakes down here because they are all loaded with 2s. So it cuts down on the amount of zones you have to visit, which is a great thing. Second thing it does is, like I mentioned before, it will help you to spawn more diamonds more frequently. And while that won't get you a great one sooner, it will make the grind a lot more fun and make your lodge look that much better. So basically, guys, when you go to a lake and you see that your respawns are 2 level 2s, you only have 2s left at that lake, what you want to do then is pull up your tent and tripod and move to another lake until all you have there are 2s, and keep moving your setups, except for those shooter zones. Those are the zones that have multiple bulls that make it really efficient to grind at. Those are the only zones where I will shoot the 2s or 1s, and those are the zones that we're gonna end up with lots of 5s in, because those are the zones we just keep shooting over and over and over again. Now this is a monster level 5. Look at him. He may even be a 300 plus, and we have another beauty behind him here. Now, as far as choosing which map to do the Moose Great One grind on, I actually don't think Revontuli is a great map to do the Moose grind on. Now, hear me out, this is why. Revontuli, the top third of the map is loaded with moose, and if the drink zones for moose were condensed to the top third of the map, then I would be all over that map and I would grind there. But Revontuli, and I want to spook all of them, Revontuli has a lot of really large lakes, and the moose zones are very sporadic. They're not condensed. So finding your zones in the first place will be a very big job, much bigger than, say, here in Medved, but you do continually have to look for zones throughout your grind because they are going to disappear, and that is just going to be so time consuming in Revontuli, and I really don't think it's going to be the best map to do the Great One grind on. Whereas here in Medved, we have all kinds of small lakes, which is great, and I do think on the New England map, from what I could see, there are not a lot of large lakes, so I think it probably will also be a very good map for the Great One grind. Yukon also will be a good map. Not a huge fan of Layton for moose. There's just so much water in Layton, and Medved is my favorite. I can't comment to the new map. It looks like it's going to be great as well. Really looking forward to doing the Moose Great One grind. Can't wait till it comes out. Click here, guys, to learn everything that is in this new amazing update, and we will definitely see you guys in the next one.